The Ethereum ETFs are in, together with the Bitcoin ETFs that we had in January. So what does this mean for the market? Are we now ready for a full leg up? Or could it still be boring? Could we maybe still go down? How do altcoins respond to this? I mean, we got an altcoin ETF, multiple altcoin ETFs. That's crazy. So let's take a look at the market. Meanwhile, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on so you don't miss out on anything. The best part of the bull market, in my opinion, is still to come. And check out the link down below for the Patreon where you can get into exclusive sales, seed sales, private sales of the best projects out there. Now, let's start with Bitcoin first, as it's still the leader of the crypto space. And Bitcoin is not doing that much. As you can see right here, Bitcoin is ranging still from the end of February until now. So for 3 months, we are basically in a range. And the downside of the range is like the high 50s. The upside of the range is the low 70s. And anywhere in that range, you know, it's still a range. It doesn't really mean much, right? Here, people are super bullish. Here, people are super bearish. All right, fine. So if we are here, you buy. And if we are here, you maybe don't buy. And you wait for a breakout. That's how I see it. Bitcoin is designed to go up way higher than where it is right now. That's obvious. I think we all know that. So whatever happens in the short term, should it really matter? Like, nah, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if we break this level right here, yeah, then we can see prices of 52, maybe high 40s, but that's an if, right? And even if that happens, that's nothing else than a big buying opportunity. You cannot, in like 10 years from now, look at the design of Bitcoin, you know, versus the great dollar that there is, and be like, yeah, you know what? 70k was the all-time high level to sell, because after that it was down only, right? Of course not. Like in 10 years from now, you are looking exactly at the crypto market as you're looking at it right now. Like, oh man, I wish I bought 10 years ago. It was such a great buying opportunity. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. But in the middle of it, of course, people get scared, right? Oh, little off topic, but that's the range. Now, we are ranging for 3 months. It could stay boring for a while. If you look at the last range, which was here at the beginning of last year, you can see that we kind of entered this range in March 2023, and we, you know, came out of the range in October 2023. So here we were ranging for 6 months. Right? 6 months of nothing, actually. Right, the low side was 24k and the high side was around 31, and everything in between also the same, right? People were super bullish, everything was going up, and people were super bearish. Never mind, it's not gonna work out. Bad news this time, right? And it starts all over again. So, but this lasted for 6 months. That's the proof that, of course, also this range could be 6 months, right? So even if this will go on for 6 months, don't let it like bore you out of the market. Don't let it scare you off. Don't let it make you doubt that we are ever going up. Every single range in full Bitcoin's history, no matter how long it took, eventually we broke to the upside, because we are now sitting at all-time highs, right? So every single range, no matter how long it was, no matter how bearish it looked, no matter if we had a worldwide pandemic, if China tried to ban Bitcoin, if whatever the bad news was, we always broke above. Okay, so a little perspective right there. When it comes to altcoins, before we jump into Ethereum, which is of course also an altcoin, but the Bitcoin dominance. Now, if we zoom a little out on the Bitcoin dominance, you can see that this thing has been going up like crazy for the last 2 years, if not 3, right? So the Bitcoin dominance, yeah, it's basically going up since 3 years already. So what does that mean? It means Bitcoin season, right? Bitcoin outperformed, altcoins outperformed, Bitcoins outperformed, altcoins outperformed, Bitcoins outperformed, altcoins outperformed, Bitcoin outperformed big time. No outperformance from altcoins yet. Yes, I know, exceptions there, but if you put them all together, then this is the chart that you get, right? It's Bitcoin season. Now, if you zoom in a little bit, you can see that on the shorter term, we were in this rising wedge. And rising wedges are notorious for breaking down. Now, it's never guaranteed. A rising wedge can always break to the upside as well. But that's a matter of chances and odds and statistics. But if you look at this is quite bullish for altcoins. Right? We broke down, we had a retest, and now it looks like we're going down. Again, that's not a guarantee. We can still do this, right? It can still go up, right? Nothing is guaranteed, but we have to work with the chances that we have right here. Okay, now why did this finally break down? Well, one, because it has to. All right. If we look at the crypto market and especially the Bitcoin dominance in this case, it's been going up quite hard. And at a certain point, you have to have an alt season, right? And that's where the Bitcoin dominance goes down. Now, you can apply this, right? This trend line basically and be like, all right, quite close to the top. You don't exactly have to touch it. Quite close to the top, down, right? That's a chart. That backs it up. You could also use the Fibonacci tool and be like, hey, 618 is where we get to, and then we go down. Well, what if we apply the 618 on the current cycle? Well, 618 comes in not far from here, right? So also a narrative on the chart that tells you like, hey, it's going down. But then we get an Ethereum ETF, and then Ethereum has a weekly pump against Bitcoin, which looks quite strong, right? Goes up, brings the Bitcoin dominance down, right? And that's the narrative for the dominance to now, break to the downside. At the moment of recording, by the time you watch it could be completely different, right? You cannot make a accurate video anymore as the crypto market moves so fast. Within an hour from now, it could be different again, right? But hey, that's all we have. So it's always funny how it works, right? That people say like, well, this time is going to be different because we have this and this news. Nah, not really. The chart is already showing us, and then we get the news that gives the whole chart a narrative. That's what it is. Same as Bitcoin. If you look at this bull market or any other bull market, we had a bull market. Was it for no reason? No, we didn't just get a bull market right here. We didn't just get a bull market. Yeah, it was because they printed money. Okay, whatever. Here it's because we have ETFs. Like here it was because whatever happened there, right? We always have a reason. It doesn't matter. The chart just shows we're in a... And it happens to be that every 4 years we have the halving, and every 4 years we have the election. So we have a standard narrative every 4 years, which makes the 4-year cycle an actual thing, of course, right? But that's not everything that we need. We need more than that, right? We need just good macro conditions, whether that might be quantitative, QE or whatever you want, low inflation. It doesn't matter. Well, we always need something. But we always get it, right? That's just how the market moves, right? So don't stick to narratives too much. It doesn't really matter. It's the halving year. The halving year is bullish. So far, no exceptions. So why would this be an exception? Right now, Bitcoin is flirting with all-time highs. We are not breaking it yet. Yes, we made a slightly all-time high above it, but it got right back sold off again, right? So it's not really an all-time high, if you ask me. At least not confirmed breaking it. But we don't need to do that right away, right? If you look at the last cycle, we took some time before we got there. And the cycle before that, we had the all-time high and we touched it, got rejected. We touched it in the first week of January 2017. And actually, we broke above it in April 2017, right? So it doesn't immediately go above it. Now, what's nice that if you look at altcoins, you overlay the altcoin market, right? Then you can see that the altcoin market really breaks out. And I mean really break out, right? We had a range right here and we had a slight range right here. But after Bitcoin broke that all-time high, that's really where altcoins took off. Now, same in this cycle. Altcoins ranging, and Bitcoin made a new all-time high right here. And that's where altcoins really took off. Now, this is the exact same setup. The exact same setup, man. It's completely the same. Here also, we go up, we try, we get rejected a little bit in the altcoin market, we slowly grind back up, right? And when Bitcoin breaks the all-time high, now we do the exact same thing right here, right? Altcoins far from making all-time highs, right? But Bitcoin didn't make enough. And it's always like Bitcoin first has to make an all-time high, go well above it, like well above it. Last cycle was 2x above it. Can you imagine 140K this cycle? And then altcoins make a new all-time high, right? Not saying that it should go to 140K first, but at least well above the previous all-time high, right? So I mean, you can pay attention to altcoins a lot and look at all the specific altcoin charts. But like, again, if you look at history, then moral of the story is basically, Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, takes a month or two, and then altcoins really go parabolic. And that's where you get an alt season, right? So far, we are far from that, right? Far from that. Maybe not time-wise, but chart-wise, at least, right? Again, alt season is where the dominance goes down quite hard. Well, dominance is going up quite hard, right? So that's not an alt season. Now, Ethereum ETF. Okay, let's look first at the Ethereum dollar valuation, and then we take a look at something that may give a little more information about all of this. So Ethereum was lagging pretty hard. Bitcoin already made a new all-time high, right? Still from this pump, Ethereum has to go up with 27% and then gets to its all-time high, let alone break it. So Ethereum is still lagging. But overall, higher highs and higher lows. And Ethereum is looking pretty bullish on the dollar pair. Right? Now, what I think might be possible that, if you look at Bitcoin, right? I'm not saying the exact same will play out because it's maybe too easy to predict this and therefore it won't happen. But if you look at Bitcoin, the day that the ETF came, it went up very hard and then it was sold off. Why? I don't know, man. Maybe people like they just anticipate towards the news and be like, yeah, Bitcoin ETF, that was the thing, right? And then we got it, and then we had nothing, right? Yeah, we had the halving, but other than that, the whole ETF news was gone, right? So it was more like, I don't know. Have you ever like wanted something very bad, like wanted to buy and saving up money for it? It's so exciting, and then you have it, and then it's just not as nice as the whole process towards it. Kind of was the same thing. So we got a big fat rejection right there. And then the actual trading started, right? And that's where the money got in. This was a fake pump to, well, it's not a fake pump, but this was the anticipation towards the ETF. This is the actual ETF money. Now, with Ethereum, it is like we had the anticipation towards the ETF, right? A big anticipation towards the ETF. And now we actually have it. And since the moment that we have it, nothing happened. We didn't go up, we didn't go down. Like literally nothing, right? So it wouldn't surprise me, because it takes probably a couple of weeks, months for the ETFs to start trading actually, right? That people are now still a little bit hyped about it, but that people slowly feel like, yeah, nothing happens, right? The ETFs are not there yet. And that slowly the price goes down. Yeah, if I don't know why this is a not at least such a good buying opportunity as Bitcoin is, right? So much like fund managers have access to Ethereum, right? It's like, and it's way lower cap than Bitcoin, and I doubt that we will have so much inflows in Ethereum as in Bitcoin, but we do not need so much to pump the chart. So I don't know. In my opinion, we could see a sell-off, right? I'm not even saying it will happen, but we could see a sell-off and then pump. But yeah, this is what I'm expecting, right? So I am saying like, hey, Ethereum long-term, whether you buy here or there, right? It's a good buy, right? Here's better, of course. But maybe everybody thinks like that, and that's the reason why the chart is holding up, and we will just do this. Right? So that's like, it's not here. I'm not here to say like, yeah, this is going to happen short term, because short term, I am always getting fucked with crypto short term. Not gonna lie, but I'm not here for the short term, so it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. I have Ethereum and I have dollars, so whether it goes up or down, I'm fine. And that's the position you should be in, I think, because long term, yeah, Ethereum is going to be very well. But if this happens, that could explain something. Because if you look at Ethereum and Bitcoin, strong candle, right? Strong candle, especially on the weekly. Like on the weekly, we're up 19%. But it's just another lower high, right? We have done this once, 2 times, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in 2 years. 9 times. Right? Not even including all these pumps that didn't make it to the complete top. Then we did it like 20, 30 times. So, based on this chart, I would say, yeah, Ethereum, Bitcoin, it's in a downtrend, right? And if you're bullish here, could be a mistake because the people that were bullish here, you get the point? They all got wrecked. So why is this anything different? Because we have the ETF. Well, yeah, but if it's now at this moment so big and so important, then the chart will be up here. Right? There's a reason why even this is fucking big news. This is a big W for crypto. This is a big 180 for the SEC, like crazy. This is huge. But given the fact how huge it is, it's still a lower high. What the fuck? Right? So, I don't know. Was not worth it to be in Ethereum compared to Bitcoin. Right now, if you look at, so we have Bitcoin doing well against the dollar, right? We have Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair not doing well. And then we have altcoins on their Ethereum pair, not doing that well, right? Like it's not that bad, also not very well. I mean, if you take it from the highs, we're still down like 46%. So if we have Ethereum bleeding against Bitcoin and altcoins bleeding against Ethereum, yeah, then altcoins still like, come on. Dude, I know that everybody in crypto always feels like, yeah, fuck Bitcoin, man. It's boring. You should be in alts. That's where the money is. And that's true for 25%. What do I mean by that? Well, if you look at altcoins on the Bitcoin pair, only 1 year out of the complete cycle, out of the complete 4 years, altcoins outperform Bitcoin. Right, so out of a complete, and that's so far, right? In the future, anything could change, but so far, and it's still intact, so far, it's not worth it for 3 years to be in altcoins. Simple. Don't make it complicated than it is. More complicated than it is. Ride altcoins 1 year and then say goodbye to altcoins for 3 years. Fuck altcoins. Simple. Fortunately, a lot of people, including myself, by the way, whoa, fucking big mosquito. Wait 1 second. Whoa. Okay, it's gone. Anyway, unfortunately, a lot of people, including myself, in the past especially, they always feel like, yeah, but altcoins are more spectacular, right? And that's where the big gains can come from. It feels more like, higher risk, higher reward, casino stuff. Right? But at a certain point, I don't know, man, if you went into enough cycles, you also, I don't know, you want to not lose your money, right? You want to make money and you feel like, okay, I might understand this now, right? So be in altcoins, okay, it's this part of the cycle now. Be in Bitcoin, nice. Okay, be in this part of the cycle now, cool. Get totally out of the market. And oh yeah, now it's time to get in altcoins again. Right now, if you look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, excluding USDT, so everything in the market excluding USDT on its Bitcoin pair, we are now here. Now, there are 2 scenarios in this case, right? We either can go down, or this is the accumulation area, right? There are, I think, cases to be made for both scenarios, right? Like if you look time-wise, for example, it's 2024 May. If you look May 2020, that's here, right? So that was this area already. So that's a possibility, right? So you could say like, okay, we're making higher lows. And that also does make sense, because if you do not include the top 10, so you take the others and you take that on its Bitcoin pair, you can see that altcoins are long-term gainers against Bitcoin, right? The top 125 is getting stronger and stronger against Bitcoin, not only against the dollar, but also against Bitcoin, right? Long-term. Still go to the cycles, and in a bear market you can see that altcoins just lose against Bitcoin. Altcoins lose against Bitcoin. In a bull market they win against Bitcoin, but altcoins long term are strong against Bitcoin, right? So I don't know. It could be that we are, but on the other hand, you can also very simple look at the chart and be like, yeah, this top side of the range is downside of the range. We're now here. We should still go down. And here also we went down. We accumulated for a while, and then had our second leg, right? Well, okay, yeah, could be. We went down, accumulated for a while, a second leg. Possible, right? Therefore, it's so hard to, like, I am not even gonna predict shit anymore, right? Because if I tend to say like, yeah, I think, that we go up after this, it could go down, and then everybody be like, oh, you were wrong. Yeah, fucking hell, man, I'm in crypto, of course I'm wrong. You cannot call 5 things like in a week and have them all right. Like, that's not possible. Crypto is made for being wrong because the market does the unexpected. So I don't want to call that. I'm basically always like to sit here and be like, hey guys, this is how I see the chances, right? So it's 70% chance that this happens, 30%. So I position myself 70% like this and 30% like that. Like, don't place all your eggs in one basket, because if you drop it, then then you have to buy new eggs, or I guess. So altcoins on their Bitcoin pair. Why is this important? Why? Like, sometimes people also ask like, yeah, but who cares about altcoins on their Bitcoin pair? That's if you don't understand that, you will not get the most out of crypto. If you understand this, then you will make five times as much money. It's very simple, right? If altcoins do bad, look, we can all agree, right? Altcoins, every single one of them, even Ethereum, are higher risk than Bitcoin. All of them, right? So that's simple. Risk is higher. So when are altcoins worth it? If the reward is also higher, because then it's at least worth the high risk, right? But based on this chart, was the reward for altcoins going up or down, right? It was going down. So you take more risk for less reward, right? If you put one Bitcoin here collectively in the altcoin market, you would now have 0.43 Bitcoin. Oh, that's a waste, especially given the fact that that Bitcoin is now 4x from where it was. All right, so that's money, right? We all care about that. So therefore, this is important. Right? I mean, you can gamble like, hey, yeah, but this altcoin is going to outperform. This altcoin is going to outperform. But still, you do not know. If it was that easy, we would all be rich, right? So if you do like to gamble on the altcoin market and are willing to lose money, then yeah, by all means. But if you feel like, hey man, you know what? I just want to ride a bull market with a good bag of altcoins that I am, of course, not sure about, but I have good faith in. Yeah, then you can better take a look at this and be like, okay, you know what? Now the collective market looks like it's bottoming against Bitcoin. Now let's get into these altcoins. Now the risk is worth it, right? The risk is now finally worth it because altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, it might be in an accumulation phase. Like I said in multiple videos, I hope you already know this, and if not, crypto cycle has 4 phases: accumulation, uptrend, distribution, downtrend, and then it starts over. Right? We can take this completely back, but the accumulation was somewhere here, right? Then we have the uptrend, we have the distribution, downtrend. Accumulation, uptrend, distribution, downtrend. Accumulation, right? What comes after the accumulation? Uptrend. But a lot of people already bought a lot of altcoins in the downtrend, right? And although they might be up against the dollar, Yeah, that doesn't really matter, right? Look example for Chainlink. I believe that this is long term. I can give you a better example, by the way. Look at Foco Forged, an altcoin that I like. Price-wise, not so much at the moment, by the way. Foco Forged is up 60% from the bottom. All right. You might feel like, oh yeah, it's nice, 60% up from the bottom. Yeah, but you already know where I'm going with this, right? If you look at Foco Forged and its Bitcoin pair, it made a new low last week, right? It just literally last week made a new low, an all-time low, right? So just by looking at this chart, I like Foco Forged. When was the best time to buy it? Never. You should never have bought any fucking Foco Forged unless you're trading it, right? Then it's not a problem. Like you can, of course, buy here, sell here, but investment-wise, never ever it was a good time to buy this, right? And there are a lot of altcoins. Quant, I remember people shilling the shit out of this thing, going to $10,000. I don't know. Well, when was the best time to buy it? Never, right? You should have never bought this altcoin. Never, right? Because if you put one Bitcoin into this thing here, right? Then you now would have 0.12 Bitcoin, right? Keeping the Satoshi value is most important. If you do not focus on that, then you, I don't want to make it sound arrogant, but then you do not know why crypto is, why Bitcoin exists in the first place, right? Yesterday, sorry for the long ass video, but fuck that. This point is, yesterday I went to the store and I bought some chicken, but I don't want to have that crap with all these antibiotics and shit. So I just bought some biological chicken, right? Not that that's like very good, I think still, but hey. So I bought it and I went to pay for it, and it was 10 fucking euros. 10 euros. That's like $11 for like 300 gram maybe. Insane. I looked at it and I was like, oh, I can afford it, of course, but out of principle, I felt like, nah, fuck that. Let's go on a diet, plant-based. I don't know. The dollar, it's not that chicken is more expensive. It's like the dollar is, of course, worthless. We all know that, right? Worthless. But it's also worth less. Pretty good indication of that is that if you look at the S&P, look at this. The S&P, if you zoom out, making new highs. Crazy, right? Crazy how high this thing is going. But if you actually look at the S&P on the money supply, it looks like this. It just broke out of a range where it was sitting in since 2001. So for 23 years, the S&P on the current money supply, so what it's actually worth, hasn't made a new high since 2001, right? If you look at this, 2001, the S&P was sitting around here, right? 4x'd since then. 4x'd. But on the money supply, it didn't do shit. So your money got, in the last 20 years, is less. Worth 4 times less. So therefore, moral of the story, you should be in Bitcoin. Or the S&P is fine as well, but Bitcoin is outperforming every asset out there, right? Therefore, you want to be in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is therefore designed to go up, of course. So if you're trading altcoins because you want to make dollars, yeah, that's nice. But if these dollars are not worth anything, then what are you doing, right? You can invest $10 today and have $50 in 3 years from now. But if that $50 buys the same as that $10 buys today, then what did you gain? It's so fucking simple. So therefore, you want to be in an asset that consistently outperforms the dollar. And the asset that does that is Bitcoin. And know, at a certain point you want to put money in your bank account. Of course, I get it. But within that cycle, try to look at something that's worth, you know, the most. So therefore, altcoins on their Bitcoin pair matter as well. So you want to understand, you know, the cycle. And this video is all over the place. It doesn't have a you know, standard concept, but I don't know, man. I just sometimes feel like, man, this is quite important. So if you look at a Bitcoin cycle, right? This is the cycle where we are in right now. It's very simple as well, right? We had the accumulation phase, uptrend, distribution phase, downtrend, accumulation phase. We are now halfway, in my opinion, the uptrend, right? And the distribution phase will come somewhere end of 2025. And then we get a downtrend again. You just want to get the fuck out of it then, right? Even though that, you know, Bitcoin outperforms the dollar, it doesn't do it in a bear market. It's very simple. All risk assets go down, right? So you just want to do that. Until then, yeah, I think we are now in the phase of the market where it's a little like said, both sides could be right? If we overlay Bitcoin on this chart, so these candles, fuck my life, these, well, whatever. This is the Bitcoin or the total 3 on its Bitcoin pair, right? So here it was worth it to be in altcoins, right? That was basically only from February 2021. No, I'm lying. January until December. Nah, until September 2021. So like for 10 months out of the 4-year cycle, you should have been in altcoins. For the rest, fuck that. Right? That's if you want to buy the exact bottom and sell the top, of course. But that was the range for altcoins. Yeah, from January 2021. That was the low, deep, like a very big ass low as well, by the way. If you now look at Bitcoin, January 2021, it was here, right? So it's like we just saw, like anywhere before this, altcoins were doing terrible, right? So it was simple. Here, stay out of everything. Here, be completely into Bitcoin. And only here be in altcoins, right? If the 4-year cycle is intact still, which like, okay, the 4-year cycle is intact, but if this part of the 4-year cycle also plays out, when to buy altcoins and convert it, etc. This is end 2022, begin 2021, which lines up to end 2024, begin 2025. That should be our alt season. All right. Until then, altcoins could pop, altcoins could drop. Nothing too crazy. And it makes sense. I've showed this before. I don't have the lines drawn right now. But we had the halving somewhere here. 8 months later, we got an alt season. We had the halving somewhere here. 8 months later, we got an alt season. We just had the halving in April, right? April. Fuck my life. Yeah. 8 months later, alt season. Yeah, that would put us in 2025. 4. It's time to wrap it up, I think. So, you know, of course, this time could be a little different. It's always a little different. The big scheme of things is always the same. But it could be that, hey, we get it in September. So don't be like, okay, yeah, I'll wait until December until I buy altcoins and then completely miss the first leg of alt season. Don't risk that. Like, it's now almost June already. Like, if you now want to position in altcoins, fine. Right? And I've been talking about altcoins for a while already. Happened to be in quite good ones and outperformed Bitcoin anyway. A lot of people they did, but a lot of people they got wrecked as well, right? Because alt season, like again, some people constantly throw the word alt season all over Twitter and all over YouTube. Let me make it very clear. We haven't seen anything that looks like an alt season in the last 3 years. And everybody that says we did is a moron. Sorry for putting it like that. But it's so simple. It's so simple, right? Alt season is where altcoins outperform Bitcoin. Well, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance, it is going up, right? Unless you have your screen upside down. Yeah, then it's an alt season. But other than that, no, this was a big Bitcoin season. And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we just go a little sideways for a while, and then drop, right? And that drop is going to be fantastic for altcoin holders. It's going to be absolutely great, and we're going to make a lot of money right there, right? Because, you know, like I said, it's like Fomo Factory, for example, again, right? But take any altcoin, whatever the fuck, it doesn't really matter. But if you look at Fomo Factory, for example, you could see like, yeah, okay, it's at $4.50. It's doing okay, right? It's doing okay. But can you imagine if it finally starts to do somewhat well against Bitcoin while Bitcoin is also going up? Or maybe just sideways from this point, right? Yeah. Then that Fomo Factory coin can like 10x easy. You want to be a little careful though with what kind of altcoins you buy. Generally, you want to buy altcoins that are strong against Bitcoin, because if they are now weak against Bitcoin, then why should they be strong against Bitcoin in, you know, a couple of months or so, right? This thing hasn't shown any form of strength. So it's really that I like Fomo Factory and that I completely go against my own bias by having some. But other than that, looking at this chart, I would say stay the fuck away, bad coin, right? Bad coin. But a Solana, for example, I expect the Solana to rip, although it already made new highs. Like, yeah, okay, no, price-wise not, but there are more tokens in circulation, so market cap, it already made new highs, actually. So yes, Solana did make new all-time highs. But Solana is strong against Bitcoin, right? So in an alt season, it should be really strong against Bitcoin. Now, let's hope that this keeps up and that this isn't the typical downtrend, accumulation phase, uptrend, distribution phase, downtrend, right? Hey, just looking at the charts. Uniswap, it's strong-ish. This is the dollar pair. It's not so strong. Yeah, no, Uniswap is not so strong. But an IMAX, for example, this is holding up pretty well, right? It's not like crazy strong, but hey, it's definitely a better looking chart than Illuvium, for example, right? Just made a new low. Although I love Illuvium, price-wise, it's a very bad performer. It's a very bad performer. Dogecoin, what's interesting is that it's holding these lows, right? We have this resistance here, and it turned it into support here, support here, support here, support here. Right, so Dogecoin could be a good buying opportunity. Cake, well, maybe as well, but yeah, it doesn't look super. Like AVAX, strong against Bitcoin. Although we had a big sell-off, look what happened here, right? It has strength against Bitcoin. See the phi, a lot of strength right here. Technically, I would wait for this how it plays out, because we have a high, we have a lower high, we have a lower high, right? We have a, oh, it's not a low. We have a low, we have a lower low, so could this be a lower low? Well, that's how such a chart works usually, so it's good. Right, so if you want to build a strong back, and this doesn't always give you the best returns, right? The best returns is just buying something like this and pray to fucking God that this thing goes up, right? But then you take a lot of risk. Matic, right? Quite okay. Honest dollar pair at least. But so what you can do is just build a portfolio, you know, where you look at these altcoins on their Bitcoin pair and that hold up. So if you look at a Veracity, for example, bad shit, right? Don't add it. If you look at a Ultra, bad shit, don't add it. Uniswap, bad shit, don't add it. Superverse, good stuff, add it, right? Yeah, you are buying coins that already pumped, but you are buying coins that already pumped hard during a complete non-alt season. So can you imagine how they will probably pump during an alt season? That's kind of how I want to build my main portfolio. Low risk, good reward. So that's it for today. Long enough. Please like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the bell notification on. Let me know which altcoins are looking strong, and I will maybe add them to my portfolio as well. Take care.